So today's question of the day comes from JackFrostTV and the Noon, who asks, what's my opinion on the Navy phasing out the job titles? Okay. So in my personal opinion, I believe it's a positive step forward. Okay. And let me explain. So I mentioned this in a previous video where the problem, when I was reading the article by the Navy Times, the problem was there are specific rates that are being pigeonholed to only certain positions, right? Because that's kind of their job. They can't do anything outside their job. So the amount of availability in what they can do, where they can go is limited, right? For example, this might not be the best example, but I just want you to understand the idea, okay? For example, right, I am a logistics specialist, right? So every base, every ship, every facility that the Navy owns, they need a logistics specialist. Why? Because we order supply, right? I work with supply. We order, dealing with, ordering parts for the airplanes, or ordering furniture, office furniture, whatever the case may be, chairs, whatever. We deal with ordering stuff. But for example, let's say I have a friend, he fixes airplanes, right? So his whole career is kind of revolved around fixing airplanes, right? So he is going to be pigeonholed into a position that only deals with fixing airplanes. So if, let's say, he wants to go to overseas, Italy or Japan or, whatever other different countries, and they don't need him, he can't go, right? Because he doesn't have that availability in orders, right? They don't really need, for example, let's say there's an opening for logistics specialist at a hospital in Japan, right? That, ordering supplies. And this airman wants to go to Japan, but he just does not have the opportunity because of his rate. So the idea behind the whole thing, right? It might not be the best example, airman, whatever. The idea behind this thing is they want to make it equal playing field for everybody. So if this airman, wants to work in the hospital or in a specific location, they can, right? So that's kind of what they are starting to develop, from what I can see. It's at its initial beginning phase. It's not a fully developed system yet. They're just kind of going in heads on first, kind of just implementing the system and just kind of building it along the way. From what I can see, by the time you get in, I don't know exactly how it will impact you, but I believe it's a positive step forward, because with that, instead of people being sick of working the same thing over and over and eventually saying at the 10-year mark saying, hey, I'm just going to get out. It's the same thing probably for the next 10 years. Instead of that, more people will be prone to stay in because they get to do different things now, right? So I hope that made sense, sharing with you my opinion. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great Navy Day.